All right, in this Equipment 101 tutorial, we're going to talk about the Manfrotto Imagine More Be-Free Advanced Travel Tripod Kit. So that is what we were talking about today. First thing you need to know is where to find it. It's in the back where all the tripods are. Yep, right next to the sink. So, whoops, knocked one over. All right. And that's because somebody didn't put it away like they should have, so make sure you put all your equipment away. All right, grab the tripod off of the shelf, unzip it. You'll notice the first thing is that when you unzip it, the feet are gonna come out the top. And so when we put it back, we wanna make sure we put it back the same way. The little end goes in the little side of the pouch and the big feet are at the end. Otherwise, it's not gonna fit back in the bag. We'll put the bag over on the side and we will unfold this. The first thing we notice about when we unfold it is that the feet come down and they click. So go ahead and bring them down all the way. And then once they're all the way down clicked, you bring them back up and now they are equal and even locked in place down at the bottom. When it is time to put your tripod away, I say this now because some of you won't make it to the end of the video. You go ahead and close it a little bit, and there's this little lever right here, and you push down on this lever. These are the clips on the legs that you push down, hold it, and then slide it back up, back into this position right here, and that way you'll be able to put it back in the bag. What a lot of people will try and do is they'll try and keep the legs down and unscrew this and bring this down, and that will not fit back in the bag because it's going to be about 5 inches too long to fit back into the bag. So make sure that the legs go back up, okay? Once they're down, we need to extend the legs. How we extend the legs is there are 3 little clips here. We unclip those, make sure it's fully extended, and then we can lock those back up. You unlock them, and they slide out, and then you relock them. Do the same on this one. It doesn't matter how you do it. You could do one at a time, and then the next one, and then the third one, and then when you're all said and done, it will freestand like that. And then you can unscrew this a little bit, bring this back up, and then screw that back together, and it will be able to hold your camera. Good rule of thumb when shooting is what are you shooting a subject of? If it's just scenery, you want it somewhere comfortable, little lower than eye level, probably about level with your chin or maybe top of your chest, up to you, personal preference. But if you're short, you definitely don't want it up here. You're gonna want it lower down here, okay? All right, so now that that's locked in place, it's time to put our camera on. We grab our camera, and we just put it on, right? Ta-da, we're done. Haha, just kidding. Camera just fall off. There goes $1,000 or more. What we need to do is hold down on this black clip here and slide over this gray clip, and it will release our plate. All right, here's the top where we put our camera. This is the black clasp that we push down, slide the gray one over, release the black one, and this will pop off. Once we have our camera attached, you'll also notice that it says lens that way. So when we go to put it back in, the lens part goes in front, and then we just push down on this back, and it will automatically click, and this piece will not come off. And then in order to release it, we push down on this, slide over on that, but be careful because your camera, if it's lens heavy, will fall forward and off, and we don't want that to happen. And then always double check it and make sure that just because you hear it click doesn't always mean that it clicked. And our plate screws into the bottom of our camera. Bottom of our camera has a little screw there. Our plate has a screw. And what's cool is it says lens and it points the direction of the lens. So as we're screwing this together, you don't need to do it more than finger tight. If you really crank it down there, then we're gonna have all sorts of issues. Or if you have it on here and you screw it on this way, then you're gonna over tighten it, it's gonna strip the metal, and it's gonna be super hard to get off. Okay, clipping this, putting this on, the front end goes in first where the lens is, and then we simply push down and it will click into place and it will be secure, but we always double check and try and take the camera off just to make sure that it did in fact clip in. Now there's been a few times where I thought it was clipped in and it wasn't, and I almost broke my camera. But I didn't, so we're good to go. So that's why I give you that word of caution. All right, once that's there, there's a couple knobs up here that we need to be aware of. This lower, smaller knob allows us to adjust left and right. And then there's a bigger knob right here in the back. And this bigger knob, when we loosen that, it will allow us to move the ball head around. And so we can change the angle and the direction of that. When we're done, we tighten it back up. There's also a smaller inner one that you also want to tighten as well. And here's the knob on the back that you unscrew. And there's also a smaller one on the inside. You just release that, and that will allow you to move this around. Tighten that, tighten the inner one, just with your fingers, nothing crazy hard. And there it is, secure as can be. Now we're set and secure, we're ready to go out, take photos, especially if we're duplicating ourselves or doing anything else like that, or we don't want the camera to move at night. This is perfect and awesome. Okay, when we're done with our photo shoot, in order to take the camera off, we pull down on the black, not super hard, just enough. We twist over with the same hand. So take your middle and index finger and press down there. Use your thumb and slide that over, because we definitely want our hand on the camera. And then we'll release the black lever, continue to hold the gray lever, and that will lock back into place. We'll take this, unscrew the bottom here. Careful not to drop it like I did, but if you're gonna drop one of the two, drop this, not the camera. Set the camera down, and then we will replace this plate back onto our lens, and then we'll collapse everything back up. Notice how I do all three at the same time. I unlock them all, and then you can just collapse all three and then close them all at the same time. If I do one at a time, it takes a little bit extra time. And so if you're not worried about time, totally fine. Again, close it, pull down on the silver lever, go up, close it, pull down, hold it, the silver level, bring it back up, close, hold, push down, hold, bring it back up. Uh-oh, you'll notice that I didn't bring that one all the way down. So I have to open it up a little bit, relock that, and then putting it back in the bag, put the small end in first, then we'll zip it back up. And we'll put it back where we got it from.